Blake Snell has been someone that the Mariners have been talked about acquiring for a very long time, but it has never happened. But could that change at this year's trade deadline? With the month of July right around the corner, it's trade season in the MLB, and we're going to be talking about some Mariners trades over the next few weeks and the next month, talking about what could help this team get to the playoffs in 2023. Now, this is assuming that the Mariners are buyers at the MLB trade deadline. As of the time of recording this, it's not clear what the Mariners are going to do at the deadline. They're still kind of hovering right around 500. But for the sake of this exercise, we're going to assume they're buyers trying to make it to the playoffs in 2023. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why in the world would the Mariners need to trade for a starting pitcher? Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, one being that Marco is out for who knows how long. Ideally, the Mariners get him back at the All-Star break maybe, but there's a chance he's out for longer. And Bryan Woo is now up over his career innings mark. There's an innings limit on Bryan Woo, and he's approaching it very, very fast. I'm not sure the Mariners are going to let him throw over 100 innings this year. That would be double his workload of last season. Bryan Woo may not be in this rotation past the trade deadline as it is. He is here to basically help the Mariners out with Marco Gonzalez being gone. And if Marco's going to be gone even longer than the trade deadline, the Mariners need to go out and acquire a pitcher that can fill in and eat some innings. Enter Blake Snell. This is a guy that I've wanted on the Mariners for a long time. He's a local guy. He's from Seattle. He grew up in Shorewood, and I think he fits this ball club really, really well. In 2023, Snell has a 3.48 ERA in 75 innings pitched. He struck out 93 hitters with an ERA plus of 117. And Snell is in the last year of his contract with the San Diego Padres, which is a $16 million contract. An acquiring team would probably have to pay around 6 to 7 million. We'll call it 6-7 million there. Looking at his baseball savant page, you can see what Snell really excels at. He strikes out a lot of hitters. His fastball velocity is in the 76th percentile, and his fastball spin is near the top at the 86th percentile as well. However, he's been giving up quite a few barrels, and his walk rate is not great. So why would the Mariners want to acquire Blake Snell? Well, the answer is what he could be. He was one of the best pitchers in the world in his last year with the Tampa Bay Rays, having a 1.89 ERA. Blake Snell was insane with the Rays before he went on over to the San Diego Padres in that big trade. And we all know the Mariners are really, really good at getting the most out of their pitchers. Look at all the guys that have come over like Paul Sewald, Justin Topa, etc. Why couldn't they do the same with somebody like Blake Snell? If you could even get a tiny bit of what Blake Snell was in that year with the Rays, or hell, even what he's been this year, for the rest of this season in 2023, that's a really good pitcher that you'd be adding to your rotation. I'd say that Blake Snell is probably at this point a 3, maybe a high 4 in a rotation, but having him for the rest of this season, if Marco is out, and obviously you don't want to rely on Bryan Woo, because who knows how many innings he can give you, and you don't want to call up Darren McCacken. I'm sorry, Dadara. You don't want to call up Darren McCacken. You don't want to call up Emerson Hancock. Blake Snell just seems like the right fit, a guy who, again, grew up near Seattle. The interesting question is, how the heck would the Mariners get Blake Snell from the San Diego Padres? The thing is, the Padres are in a very similar situation to the Mariners, hovering right around 500, but they spent a hell of a lot more money doing it. At the time of recording this video, the Padres are 35-38, 8.5 back of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Mariners are 35-36, 9 back of the Texas Rangers. San Diego Padres are 5 games back of an NL wildcard spot, whereas the Mariners are 4 back. So yeah, these teams are relatively similar. Until you go look at the payroll tracker and see the Padres here in the 3rd spot at $246 million. So the Padres may look to shed some salary if they think that they're out of it towards the end of July. Obviously, a lot can happen from then to now, and this is also assuming, once again, that the Mariners are buyers. But for the Mariners, why not try and go out and get someone with a little bit extra salary that could help you and maybe push you on a win streak here towards the end of June, early July, into the dog days of summer? And if you're the Padres, if you think you're out of it, why not try and shed some salary and gear up for next year? I'm not sure exactly what this deal would look like, and honestly, if I was the Mariners, I would of course want to get Ha-Seong Kim or something like that in this deal as well. I still don't think the Padres are going to trade Ha-Seong Kim. I would love to have him. He would be a big upgrade over like a Dylan Moore, Sam Haggerty, Jose Caballero, etc. But nonetheless, I think that Blake Snell makes a lot of sense for the Mariners, and if we had to throw a deal their way, I don't think that it would cost all that much. And again, that is simply because they're paying Blake Snell a lot, and if they're getting rid of him, I would see it as solely a salary dump. If they're trying to get rid of Blake Snell, trying to get his money off of the books, the Mariners probably wouldn't have to send a whole lot their way. With that being said, the Padres have shown time and time again that they are willing to go over that luxury tax. It's not that big of a deal to them. So maybe getting the money off the books isn't as important as I would hope. But I would say maybe even sending like a Jonathan Clase their way, along with some sort of minor league pitcher. I have no idea who. And honestly, the Padres would probably want guys a little bit closer to the big leagues. Maybe the Mariners could send over some of their extra guys. Maybe a Cooper Hummel could go that way if they have any value in him. If for some reason the Padres value Zach DeLoach, the Mariners could send Zach DeLoach over there, etc., etc. The Padres probably want pitching. Would I be willing to give up Emerson Hancock for Blake Snell? Probably not if we're taking on all of that salary. Then again, AJ Preller is really stupid. He gave the Mariners Ty France, Andres Munoz, Taylor Trammell, and Luis Torrens for Austin Nola. So who the hell knows what the Padres are going to want to do? Do you think that the Mariners could be trading for Blake Snell? Do you think this would be a good fit? And what do you think the package would look like? Put that in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.